あの日、私たちは入れ替わった。
Yep. No, that's fair. Yeah. Hey guys, it's Chaos Head time. I'm Soba. Let's read. At the Shibuya McD, a large wave of students arrived as soon as evening hit. I could hear the high-pitched voices of high school girls joyfully chatting away with one another. I took a moment to look out the window, and then I took out my phone. Oh, this is Yua, okay. I think? Whatever. It was now 5:02 p.m. on September 7th, 2 minutes past the time she was supposed to be here. I took a bite out of my chicken sandwich, feeling a little bit annoyed.
ごめん、みやちゃん。待たせちゃった？
Yeah, I'm Mia. Yua's Mia, Mia's Yua. Hi, Yua. Wait. Yua-chan appeared, tray in hand, and sat down in front of me. I let out a small sigh.
うん、待った。5分くらいおまけしてほしいな。あ、みやちゃんもチキンバーガー？私もだよ。
She pointed to the chicken sandwich on her tray. The two of us were twins, so it was only natural that we'd have the same preferences. She really didn't need to point out every little time that we had something in common, but she happily did so anyway.
みやちゃんとこうして渋谷で会うのって初めてだよね。
Wait, the first time we've ever met up? In Shibuya? I didn't go to school in Shibuya, but the two of us saw each other at home all the time, so we just didn't have many reasons or opportunities to be up in Shibuya. That was all there was to it.
私にお願いしたいことって何？私にできることなら何でも言ってね。
I took the last bite of my chicken sandwich, sipped some of my iced tea, and then I leaned toward Yua-chan.
実はこれから人と会うんだけど。彼氏？そんなんじゃない。今まで一度も会ったことない人たち。
Wait, I'm just meeting up with some people I've never actually met in person before. So, is that implying that you were trying to meet up with some online friends? We know the people that she's going to be meeting up with, actually. It's going to be those 4 people that, do the group dive. So...
たちって何人？
4?
4人かな。
Called it.
どういう関係なの？ネットで知り合った人。別にやましい関係とかじゃないから。アニメのファンサイトみたいな掲示板があるんだけど、そこで。
Yep, there it is.
へえ、私インターネットなんて全くやらないからよくわからないけど、そうやってネットで知り合うことってよくあるの？
You know, this brings up a very... Okay, I am hearing that their voices do sound slightly different, so I'm kind of curious if they got 2 different voice actresses, or they had one voice actress do the voices for both Mia and Yua, to really sell the whole thing about them being twins. You know? That sounds like something that would be done. Because... what was it? I think it was in the Japanese dub of Naoki Urasawa's Monster, that, the characters for, a pair of twins had this same voice actress.
まあね。でもオフ会は私も初めてで。
But they did such a good... I believe they did such a good job that they were able to, well, differentiate them. Which really didn't go very well with the English dub, where they got 2 different voice actors.
みやちゃん人見知りだもんね。人見知りじゃない。人に合わすのが苦手なだけ。そういうことにしておいてあげる。で、大丈夫なの？初めての人たち相手にうまく話せそう？本当は会おうと思ってたんだけど、今になってやっぱり。
You're a little nervous.
怖くなっちゃったんだ。
Having second thoughts, that's better.
めんどくさくなっただけ。でもドタキャンするのも悪いし。だから私が代わりに行けばいいのね。
Yua-chan was really perceptive. She'd understood that what I was trying to say before I even finished my sentence. Usually that was more annoying than it was helpful, but this time I was glad that I didn't have to explain everything.
そういうこと。 お願いしていい？
There we go. There we go.
別にいいけど、みやちゃんはそれでいいの？友達を作れるチャンスなのに。そんな小学生みたいな扱いしないでよ。別に友達を作りたいわけじゃないし。
You don't need to make friends and don't want to make friends.
もう、みやちゃんは本当に意地っ張りなんだから。言ってくれる？うん、わかった。私は楠木みやになりきればいいのよね。
So that's how it happened. It was just them getting a meetup. Mia got too nervous about it. Didn't feel like, okay, I see.
そこまでしなくてもいいけど。どうせならとことんやった方が面白いじゃない。そうだ、制服も入れ替えようよ。
Ah, so it was her idea to swap the uniforms.
なんでそんなにはしゃいでるの？みやちゃんから頼み事されるなんてめったにないでしょ。だから嬉しいの。
God, she really was a good sister.
ゆあちゃん、バカみたい。どうせバカなお姉さんですよーだ。
The dorkiest of all dorks.
ほら、そうと決まれば着替えちゃおうよ。
Yua-chan forcefully pulled me by the hand. We went into the private bathroom, and after a couple of minutes, we'd swapped all clothing and personal effects.
みやちゃん、水泳の制服似合うね。きっとお父さんやお母さんでもどっちがどっちなのか見分けつかないよ。あ、でもメガネかけてたら一発でバレちゃうかな。これも外して行くのはちょっと難しいかも。何も見えなくなっちゃう。初対面の相手なんだからここまでしなくてもよかったのに。もうまだ言ってるし、待ち合わせの時間そろそろなんでしょ。それまで打ち合わせしておこうよ。私アニメのことちっともわからないけど、何を話せばいいの？
Don't even know a thing about... Oh, boy. Oh, no. Poor girl doesn't know anything about animes. Talk about Naoki Urasawa's monster. Sorry.
適当に相槌打ってればいいよ。どうせ一回こっきりしか会わない人たちなんだし。そんなことないよ。この出会いを通してお友達付き合いすることになるかもしれないでしょ。もしかしたら彼氏もできちゃうかも。興味ない。
Not even interested.
あるくせに。なかったら会う約束なんてしないもの。うるさいな。頑張って楠木みやはとってもいい子ですっていうのを印象付けてくるね。
Oh, God, don't let that be the last word she said with her.
本当にそういうのはいいってば。
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if she just immediately left, the last word she would say to her sister is, I hate you. Holy shit, that would fuck with me. If she did that, it'd be even harder for me to go to the second time. I just wasn't as sociable as she was. Also,
それじゃ行ってくるね。
it really adds on to this. Like, you can tell, like, the differences in their personalities so well. We can see, oh, this is gonna sound awful, even though parents really shouldn't be doing this, we can tell who the favorite child is. I mean, we've already heard it, really, but there's definitely a favorite in this family dynamic.
よろしく。そこまで頑張らなくていいから。はいはい。じゃあね、みやちゃん。
Yua-chan smiled and waved goodbye. Wearing my uniform, holding my bag, and then she disappeared into the crowds of Shibuya as none other than Kusunoki Miya. That had been the last time I'd ever seen Yua-chan. I then had gone home, waited for her to come back, only to see that case on the news. Whoa, holy. Oh, right, I believe the third melt happened. When I came to, my headache was so bad it felt like it was splitting in two. The first thing I realized was that I was pinned under my bed. The second was that the bed had fallen on top of me. So not only was my head about to burst from the pain, but my back was too under the weight of the bed. The only thing I could move were my eyes, which allowed me to witness the sheer devastation of my room. And she doesn't have her glasses on anymore. Hello, Mia. Yua was slumped against the wall, staring off in a daze. She'd been half naked before the earthquake hit, but it seemed like she'd put her clothes back on. Before, she'd been completely topless while also keeping her glasses on, which had honestly brought some life back into me, but now her glasses had fallen to her feet, the lenses were cracked. It took nearly everything in me, but I managed to fight through the headache and call out to Yua, and with the most empty eyes, she looked at me.
思い出したの。
Literally, who cares? I don't give a shit about what you remember. Just untie me already. I can't move under this thing.
思い出したのよ。
Yua slowly got up and easily untied the tied knot. Almost too easily, in fact, considering how dark it was. And how she wasn't wearing her glasses. Finally, a free man, I managed to slip out from under the bed. But that was about as far as I went. My head felt as if it was being cracked open, just like it had during the previous earthquake. Even standing up felt impossible, so I endured the pain on all fours.
ユアちゃんだったのよ。
Yua was once again mumbling something in a low voice.
集団ダイブで死んだのはミアじゃない。ユアちゃんだった。
ユア、何を？
私はユアじゃない。
She finally remembered who she really was. A wry smile spread across Yua's lips.
私はミアよ。自分をユアちゃんだって思い込んでただけ。あの日私たちは入れ替わったの。それでユアちゃんは死んだ。本当は私が死ぬはずだったのに。
That sick realization that you were the intended target. Holy crap. Suddenly, the expression on Yua's face disappeared, complementing the empty eyes that had yet to leave her, and then she extended her hand toward me.
西条くん、もう将軍のことなんてどうでもよくなっちゃった。
Nani?
結局ユアちゃんは私が死なせたようなものだから。ねえ、一緒に来てほしい。
Huh?
どこへ？
ユアちゃんが死んだ場所。一緒に来てくれるだけでいい。お願い。
You kept me locked up for over 24 hours. I'm not entirely sure I can agree to go with you, like, all things considered. I didn't know why exactly she was asking this, but I had an idea. An idea that soon became a realization. Yua. No. Mia was planning to die. I had no idea whether or not I should stop her. It was probably too late for me to say anything that might reach her. And so I took Mia's hand and went to pull myself up. I felt a stabbing pain in my head. I pictured my eyes being dyed a scarlet red. The throbbing pulsation of the blood vessels inside my head reverberated throughout my entire body. It hurt too much to move. I didn't have the strength.
歩ける？
No! Mia supported my body with her shoulder.
歩いてくれないと困るわ。一緒に来てほしいの。私を助けると思って。お願い。
Save her? Okay. Yep. Oh, shit. With my body supported by Mia, the two of us began walking in the direction of Shibuya. Shibuya had transformed into a city of death. Everywhere you looked, corpses were strewn across the ground. Some were covered in blood. Some had their limbs severed and some had their heads crushed. Not even a shred of human dignity could be seen in the absolute hellscape spread out before us. Not a single glimmer of the city's former glory remained. The only things it held now were death, ash, and despair. Nothing more. Huge cracks tore through the roads, large scars indicative of how it could all come crashing down at any moment. Huge chunks of debris had fallen from the crumbling buildings, blocking our way. It was difficult to even walk in a straight line. But none of that was enough to make us lose focus on our goal. Mia and I marched on, completely disregarding the cries for help around us. Our destination was the building towering above in the distance. Cornelius Tower. The tower was still standing. The outer walls were crumbling in certain spots, but the structure itself had more or less tanked the earthquake. It still stood straight and tall. As far as we could tell from the outside, it seemed that the lights were off on every floor. Maybe everyone had evacuated, leaving the building vacant and abandoned. Naturally, the lobby was completely empty. There didn't seem to be any electricity either, so the elevator didn't work. Our only option to get to the rooftop would be the emergency stairs. When the details behind the group dive case had appeared online, I'd done a little digging into the building. Cornelius Tower stood at 184 meters tall, with 41 floors above ground. There was absolutely no way I could climb that many floors. Not when I couldn't even walk straight with this headache. And yet Mia kept on supporting me. Leaning on her, we climbed the stairs, step by step, sweat dripping down our foreheads.
お父さんとお母さんは私が自分のことをゆあちゃんだって言い出して気を使ってくれたんだと思う。
You really sure about that?
私をゆあとして扱ってミアが死んだことにしたのかも。
That's not really the interpretation I was gonna go for, because I'm sorry, that's definitely not a healthy way for a parent to quote-unquote protect their child. Like, Jesus Christ. Then again, what the hell do I know? I'm not a parent. The only parent I am is of my cat. She was talking to herself, and I listened along in silence. Well, she probably didn't need me to listen. She just was talking out loud, and I just happened to be there.
昔からそうだった。私は生意気な娘だったから。
That's why I'm always of the mind that they just... My thought process is they legitimately believe that you were Yua. I don't know. I don't know. They probably just felt like they got an excuse to get rid of Mia or something like that. I don't know. That's always been the impression I've had of your parents, but again, I should probably just let her speak.
両親はいつも私を腫れ物にでも触るかのように扱ったわ。ミアを死んだことにするなんてね。親はユアちゃんよりミアに死んでほしかったのかもしれない。
Again, that's exactly what I was thinking.
それも全部私のせいだけど、自分がユアちゃんだと思い込んだ私のせいよ。
I'm still of the mind that it was a traumatic response to her death. I feel like that was, again, I think that was just a traumatic response.
ユアちゃんが死んだみたいに私も死ねばいいのよ。
I don't agree with that.
ユアはどんな人だったの？
憧れだった。羨ましかった。たまにイラついたりしたけど嫌いじゃなかった。むしろ大好きだった。ユアちゃんのこと大好きだった。私のことを分かってくれるたった一人のかけがえのない人だったもの。 ゆあちゃんが笑顔でいてくれれば、私はどんなに辛いことがあっても嬉しかった。いつも私のことを心配してくれたわ。心配させてるのが申し訳なくて、私はつい冷たく接してた。それなのに、いつも優しくて。
Deep down, I choose to believe that your sister knew exactly how much you meant to her. Even if you were acting distant, I felt she completely understood and knew.
ゆあちゃん。
Mia kept climbing the stairs, tears gently streaming down her face. Were they tears of regret? Tears of sorrow? Or tears of guilt? That I couldn't tell. The wind was stronger than I thought it would be on the helipad. A panorama of Shibuya's nightscape spread out right before our eyes, but now, its former brilliance was nowhere to be found. The city had been fully engulfed in darkness. One could just barely make out landmarks like Tokyo Tower, Roppongi Bills, or other buildings situated in Shinjuku in the distance. The Shibuya beneath our feet was veiled in complete and utter silence. There was very little light, allowing darkness complete reign over the ruined city. If it were noon, then Shibuya's new form would be nothing less than stupefying.
西条くん、もしよかったら。
Mia gently let me go, retracting the arm that had been supporting me. I immediately sank down to the ground, not a single ounce of energy left in my legs.
一緒に飛んでくれない？
Fly with you? Mia stared deep into the dark night. Fierce gusts of wind sent her long hair fluttering in the sky, hiding her expression from view. That was when I realized Mia had come here to jump. To follow in her sister's footsteps. With that in mind, my answer was clear.
やだね。僕は死にたくない。なんで僕を監禁した女と心中しなくちゃいけないんだ。
そう言うと思った。
One step at a time, Mia walked toward the edge of the heliport, facing the strong wind head on.
そうそう。西条くんと予約しに行ったセイラちゃんのフィギュア。
Suddenly, she stopped and turned around.
ちゃんと買ったのよ。とても可愛くてセクシーだね。すっかり気に入っちゃって、私の部屋の机の上に飾ってあるの。
A transient smile spread over Mia's lips. Of all times for her to have said that, why now?
そんなこと言っても、僕は君に同情しない。
同情なんて求めてないわ。それじゃあ、さよなら、西条くん。私を殺した人。私もゆあちゃんのところに行くね。
And now we're in her perspective, aren't we? What Nishijo-kun had just said was very reasonable. It was strange, though. It had made me feel lonely. There was this heart-rending pain in my chest. In the end, I had never been afforded the opportunity to confirm whether or not he was Shogun. Maybe he had been telling the truth, and I was the one who'd gotten it all wrong. But even if I wasn't wrong, there was no point in holding a grudge against him now. If only I hadn't asked Yua-chan to switch places with me back then. If only I had just gone to the offline meet myself, then Yua-chan would still be alive. Yua-chan hadn't deserved to die. She'd had so many friends. Our parents had loved her more than anything. And she'd been the smartest, most beautiful girl I'd ever met. And yet she had died anyway. Kusunoki Yua had died anyway. And when she had, Kusunoki Miya had disappeared along with her. She'd vanished into thin air, becoming a ghost. That was the choice I had made back then. I could no longer tell whether I was alive or dead. All I knew was that Yua-chan wasn't here anymore. So I'd rather be dead. I stood at the edge of the helipad, where Yua-chan and the other 4 had jumped off that night. Looking down made me feel dizzy. The whole nightscape was pitch black. All the lights in the city had gone out, and yet, even in that darkness, I could still tell just how high up I really was. I wondered how Yua-chan had felt when she jumped off of here. She'd probably been terrified. I'm sorry, Yua-chan. I'm sorry you had to go through something so terrifying because of me. I'll be going too. Very soon. I will take the pain that you endured, the pain that I alone was supposed to feel, and engrave it onto my body, Yua-chan. I took a deep breath. My heart and mind were at peace. I wasn't afraid of dying. I spread my wings. My arms lay in the empty air. I closed my eyes. And then, I stepped forward into the bottomless abyss before me. And with nothing there to support me anymore, I fell. My whole world turned upside down. There was nothing left to chain me back. Even though I was in free fall, it almost felt like I was floating. Floating amid the rumbling of the wind. The ground was rushing toward me. The very same asphalt that Yua-chan had crashed into 2 months back. The hardened tar that had crushed her bones, ruptured her organs, and sprayed her blood and gray matter across itself. I don't want to die. Just a moment ago, I hadn't been afraid to die, but the second I had lost control of my body, I had been overcome with a tremendous sense of dread. The view from halfway down. I don't want to die. Even if Yua-chan had died, I still wanted to live. This was just my survival instincts taking over. I screamed. I screamed from the bottom of my soul. I desperately reached out my hand to the distant night sky above me. I knew there was no one that could grab onto it. But I reached out all the same. There was no end to my screams. I pleaded. I don't want to die. But nobody heard me. Nobody grabbed my hand. I simply fell, with the earth coming closer and closer. I had felt my body shatter into a million pieces, but that feeling had disappeared soon after. When I came to, I found myself collapsed on the roof of Cornelius Tower. Huh? Nishijo-kun was in front of me. He still wasn't looking at me, but he was reaching his hand out even so. I definitely jumped. No doubt about it. I had definitely taken that nearly 100-meter dive and smashed right into the ground. But now I just sat there, staring at Nishijo-kun's hand, utterly dumbfounded. I even forgot to wipe away the tears streaming down my face. Nishijo-kun's words were blunt and curt. You stopped him? You stopped her?
私落ちたのに自分で飛び降りたのに
妄想でも見てたんじゃない
A delusion? You're telling me all those sensations, all that pain was just a delusion? That's impossible. It felt so real.
ねえ 西条くん、ゆあちゃんはあんな痛い思いをして死んだんだね。なのに私、ゆあちゃんと同じ痛みを味わおうとしたのに、私は死にたくないって思っちゃったの。本来死ぬのは私だったのに、死にたくないって。もう飛べない。あの痛みを知ってしまったら、もう怖くて飛べない。私、どうすればいいのか。
今ので君は一度死んだ。ユアの痛みを知ったなら、もうそれでいいじゃないか。
Wow.
これからはもう一度楠木宮として一から生きていけばいいと思う。
This is a delusion.
ユアの分まで。
This is a delusion she had before she died.
ありがとう。ありがとう。
I reached for the hand that he'd extended out to me and took it. It was so very, very warm. I could feel his body heat through his palm. A warmth so comforting I felt my hand stop shaking. Wait, what? Huh? It wasn't a delusion? Okay, so that ending definitely better than the Nanami ending. Reach the sun and moon ending. Okay, okay, so final thoughts. Like I said, definitely better than the Nanami ending. That, for those last few thoughts on that rooftop. First off, very realistic reaction from Takumi. Not even really taking his, by the way, not taking his personality into account. Like, what would your reaction be? You're locked up by this individual for over a day. They are constantly telling you that you're a murderer when you know you're not a murderer. And then they just have this sudden realization. That doesn't erase the fact that you were locked up for an entire fucking day. And all of that. Like, his reaction, completely understandable and all that. But then the follow-up. When she experiences that delusion of what it's like falling to her death, that fear, that pain, and then it's revealed that she just suffered a severe delusion. Because let's be fair, delusions, Gigalomaniacs seem to have delusions that either really affect reality, or it is so unbelievably real that it is kind of scary whenever you're snapped out of it and you're like, oh shit, wait, that was a delusion. That wasn't real. And it seems like Takumi immediately recognized that she felt it. She felt the pain of falling to her death. And he completely recognized it. And I felt that little thing where it's like he, in that last moment, recognized and told her that she still had a chance to start again. Which shows a scary level of, like, almost maturity from Takumi in that moment. Like, damn. Also, just, I will say it again. While, sure, the Nanami route was, for the most part, kind of... Listen, the only positive about that was Takumi attempting to be a good brother to his little sister, which turned out to just be a fake sister. And then the thing got derailed at the very end and became exceptionally depressing and 3 parts disgusting. But this one explored more themes that I was actually interested in. Especially with a character that I was mostly interested in the first place. So, this ending already scores, I mean, okay, I will say definitely one of the bigger differences is that neither of them awakened to their D-swords. The world's basically fucking over. The world's destroyed. So, no D-swords, none of that. Which, by the way, I still think Takumi's awakening to his D-sword, still top tier favorite scene so far in this entire fucking novel. But this scene right here with Yua, the entire story with her and her realization that she was Mia, utterly good stuff. I absolutely loved it. Which really puts into perspective the previous routes where Yua, still believing that she's Yua, awakened her D-sword and killed this manifestation of Mia. As in, she basically completely chose to ignore that she is Mia and actively erase that, fully embracing her role as Yua, which kind of really makes sense. She literally broke her mind accepting that she is Yua and not Mia, thus causing her to get a D-sword. I'm assuming that's how that entire thing worked out. But here, she was made to face reality and remember that she is Mia, and her blaming herself for her sister's death just because she felt awkward meeting up with some online friends. Now, I'm hoping that the next few routes will further explore why Mia was targeted in the first place. Like, surely it couldn't just be like, oh, those 5 are just, they just happen to be there at the right time. Unless they really are. And we're like, fuck, damn, okay. Maybe we'll get some more explanation here. But it's still a very bleak ending, but it has a tiny hint of hope in it. Which automatically makes it, like, currently kind of my favorite ending so far. So far. But this video is probably going to be kind of short in comparison to what I usually do for this. But that's okay. We'll get a good start on the next route next time. But overall, I love the psychology of Yua and Mia. I'm happy we got to learn more. And now with this new knowledge, I'm looking forward to seeing how the other routes play out. But for right now, that's it from me, everybody. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see all of you next time.